Enzo Fernandez has been one of the most creative and important players for Chelsea. He was also the most important player for the Argentinian national side. Now we're going to analyze, is Enzo Fernandez a problem at Chelsea? So Enzo Fernandez is quite a technical player. His ability to have his vision to pick players behind opposition lines and through balls is a great asset for a team. However, Enzo Fernandez has been under scrutiny of late, and this has posed the question, is Enzo Fernandez the problem at Chelsea? This is a broad question that cannot just be answered in simple terms. This is because Enzo Fernandez has been one of the key players at Chelsea. So let's look at his stats. From his stats, you can clearly see that his goal contribution is quite low, though his passing and his progressive passes are quite high. This indicates that Enzo Fernandez excels in a position whereby he is able to dictate the tempo of the game. But this position is not necessarily the defensive midfield position. One key weakness of Enzo is his shooting. Enzo Fernandez is not quite great shooting the ball, and most instances will aim the ball at the opponents, or in most cases will shoot the ball towards the goalkeeper. Enzo Fernandez will also attempt shots which will either go over the line or not even hit the target of the opposition goal. Therefore, utilizing him in a wrong position advanced high up the pitch is exposing his weakness, his inability to contribute goals. Therefore, this shooting problem that Chelsea have might have also been contributed to some extent by the deployment of Enzo Fernandez in high advanced positions. Therefore, we are going to analyze and see if Enzo Fernandez is indeed the problem at Chelsea. And that is going to be our analysis for the video today. So, Mauricio Pochettino has been faced with a lot of problems as Chelsea head coach. One of the problems is how he has deployed players in his team, and we're going to see how this has affected Enzo Fernandez. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. So, we're going to look at three phases. Now, the first phase we're going to look at is the 2022-2023 season, and where Enzo Fernandez played. So in that season, Enzo Fernandez was playing as a second pivot in a double pivot next to Mateo Kovacic or N'Golo Kante. So in this situation, you will see Enzo Fernandez being the one who drops deep to create play and help the team during the build-up phase. He'll use his excellent passing and vision to pick out players and runners, making runs beyond the opposition defense line. Though this season Chelsea were not quite effective in moving the ball high up the pitch. Therefore, you will see him line up next to Kovacic, but rather Kovacic will be the box-to-box midfielder who will use his incredible dribbling rate to push with the ball high up the pitch, while Enzo Fernandez will be acting as a deep lying playmaker or a defensive midfielder, a position where he was exposed constantly since opponents will play through him and launch quick counter-attacks against Chelsea. But this position, Enzo played it well, but it is not his best position. Now we are also going to look at another position that Enzo occupied, and this position is the number 8. The number 8 position, which I feel is the best position for Enzo, he played it during the game against Liverpool. And in this position, he played as the more aggressive box-to-box midfielder who will be pushing high up the pitch and helping the attacking five of the two wing-backs, Carnage Kumeka, Sterling and Jackson, with Conor Gallagher being deployed as the number 6. In this position, Enzo Fernandez had a lot of free roll and therefore would receive the ball and had a free roll to receive the ball in any place high up the pitch. As the box-to-box midfielder, he had the freedom and he would get on the ball as he likes to be on the ball in most cases. He would attempt to create overloads on one side And once he creates that overload on one side, he will receive the ball and immediately use his excellent vision to pick out the opposing fullback. And this is something we saw in the game against Liverpool in the second half when he would pick Reece James. Here you can see how his number 8 position, he's able to dictate play from deep, receive the ball directly in between the lines. The next position that Pochettino has deployed him in is the number 10. This is the position that is bringing a lot of problems. So Pochettino deployed Enzo Fernandez in this number 10 position upon the injury of Kane Chukwuemeka. And since there was no natural replacement for Chukwuemeka, as Palmer had not yet been signed, Enzo Fernandez was played in this position. But the problem is now Enzo Fernandez would not join the front line and therefore play slightly deeper, enabling Chelsea to have only 4 men against 4 men. So in instances where Enzo Fernandez is expected to attack the left half space in that kind of position, we'll see Enzo Fernandez starting in this position, but later in the game he will feel and behave like he's not comfortable in that position, and therefore you will see Enzo Fernandez do this. So when Colwill will be pushing forward to try to give numerical advantages down the left hand flank, Enzo Fernandez in this position where he's supposed to create problems for the fullbacks and the midfielders will drop deep to receive the ball, as I have indicated to you that he likes to receive the ball. He likes to play with the ball most of the time. So when you play him in a position whereby he has to wait for the ball, he's going to drop deep to try to receive the ball. This is giving Mauricio Pochettino tactical problems, since even if you play the ball to the winger, the fullback is now with him and an extra defender. The half space position is left unoccupied, and this is limiting Chelsea's attack since they cannot overload the opposition backline. Problem that Enzo Fernandez is creating for this team. Therefore, Chelsea are now forced to overload down the right. This is why we're seeing Chelsea are highly relying on attacking down the right, which is causing a lot of problems since now opponents are shifting across and marking them. The front 4 is now man-marked and therefore they cannot attack well since they don't have quantitative superiority in attacking areas. And even when Enzo plays in this half-space position, his shooting is not great while he has been deployed next to Nicholas Jackson. But now let's look at the best position. So Enzo Fernandez's best position is playing as a box-to-box midfielder next to a destructive number 6. This can be either Romeo Lavia or Caicedo, or currently Leslie, who has been filling in for the injured Moises Caicedo and Lavia. In this position, he can have the freedom to pick up passes to the fullbacks, as well as the freedom to be moving across the pitch to receive the ball and shift play. This will enable Chelsea to have as many as 5 players in attack, with Cole Palmer coming in to start as the number 10. Aided with Mudryk and Gusto, who will be hugging the touchline to give width down the right hand flank. Even when teams decide to line up in a back 5, Enzo Fernandez can join the attack, making these late runs that we saw him make during the game against Liverpool. And this is one of the problems that Enzo Fernandez is giving. So is Enzo Fernandez the problem at Chelsea? This is the question that we had asked in the beginning of the video. Therefore, we're going to answer it now. And the answer is yes and no. The answer is yes, because Enzo Fernandez being deployed in a position that does not suit him exposes his weaknesses, such as his shooting and his inability to maintain his position in the half spaces. And no, because he does not start himself in this position, and it is the manager Mauricio Pochettino who plays him in this position. As you can say, a player being played out of position and a position that exposes a player's weaknesses showcases how a player is not performing well for the team. That's the end of the video.